Hello there! Last week, in part 1 of our series on managing client expectations, we discussed why it's crucial to set clear expectations up front and how to communicate effectively with your clients. Today, in part 2, we're diving into what happens when things go wrong. So stay tuned because we're really going to get into it. Hello again and welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and I am a flower preservationist, educator, and business coach sharing all of my tips and tricks for building and growing your flower preservation business. Now let's face it, mistakes happen and sometimes things don't go as planned. Sometimes we have unhappy clients. So how do we handle those situations? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the most important thing first. And it's actually something I already talked about in part 1, honesty. In part 1, I explained how important it is to be honest in how you portray your business and explain the process of your flower preservation workflow before clients book to help build that trust. Well, the honesty doesn't stop there, especially when something goes wrong. Continuing to have an open and honest communication with your client when you have a problem is how you continue to keep the trust and have clients who still give rave reviews despite a problem. So let's go over some examples of what could go wrong during the process. This can range from minor imperfections in the resin to more significant issues like a piece turning yellow prematurely. Whether the problem was within your control or not, it's important to be transparent with your clients about what happened. A great example for me was back in 2022, I dealt with a resin company that changed their formula and the protocol that I had been using for over a year was no longer working and all of the pieces I made turned orange within 3 weeks of pouring. I had at least 20 orders ruined from this resin. And it wasn't just me, it happened to artists all over the country. I attempted to find a solution with the company, but they were less than helpful, so I had to find another resin company. But what did I do about my clients and their pieces? I told them the truth. I told them exactly what happened, and you know what? They were so understanding. Because I'd already created that trust in the beginning, and I was honest about the process, and I gave them options to move forward. They were so appreciative and understanding, and we were able to make them all happy. When an issue arises, honesty is the best policy. Explain the situation clearly and concisely. For instance, if the flowers changed color unexpectedly or the resin didn't set properly, let the client know what happened and why. Transparency helps maintain that trust even when the outcome isn't ideal. Now, honesty isn't the only thing. The other important factor is to have solutions for your client. When something goes wrong, how are you going to fix it? What are you going to do to make it right? Let's go back to my example. When all those pieces were ruined, I told my clients what happened. I already had 2 solutions for them to choose from. I gave them the option to have another piece made, as similar to the original as possible, or they could keep their piece as is and I would give them a partial refund. I had about half choose a remake and the other half keep their piece and get a refund. And again, they were all very understanding and were happy that I had solutions available for them to choose from. A year after this happened, I found one of those brides actually praising my name to the high heavens on a Facebook post. Despite the unfortunate issue with her piece, the experience I gave her and how I treated her, the customer service I presented, it made her want to share my business with everyone. And that's what makes a good business. Now let's talk about what to do when you have an unhappy client come to you when you don't believe anything is wrong. Here's an example. A client receives their piece in the mail and sends you a not so nice email stating that her white flowers are yellow, there's bubbles, she's disappointed that her flowers don't look the way they did on wedding day. Rule number 1, never respond immediately. More than likely, reading that email made you very upset, and you do not want to respond to a client when you are upset. You need to take some time to think before you reply. Here's what you need to think about. Did you set the expectations for this client before they booked you? No? Then their feelings are valid and you will need to apologize and probably even offer a partial refund. And if you did, then a response is very easy. And this is also why having a detailed contract is very important. As I explained in part 1, your contract should explain the process in detail, what they can expect, and what can go wrong. In response to that client's email, you can professionally explain that you were upfront about the expectations of the process, including the color changes and the possibility of bubbles. That this process can be complicated and unpredictable, and it is unrealistic to expect flowers to look exactly the way they did on wedding day. You believe your pieces that you delivered are in line with the quality of your work you typically deliver and are happy with how they turned out. And that you hope that they can look past these small details and see the beauty of their story in their flowers that tell about their day. Now, for some clients, this will be enough. For some, they may not be satisfied with this and still demand a refund. You will have to decide if it is worth the fight or not to refund. If you don't want to deal with it, you can give a partial refund and wash your hands of them. If you want to stand your ground, you can explain that you have fulfilled your contractual obligations, and based on that contract, you will not be giving any refunds. Now, it's important to note that I am not a lawyer, so I cannot give you any legal advice past this. Should the dispute go past this, you will need to consult with legal representatives to determine your next move. I truly hope you never have to experience anything bad enough to involve legal counsel. And if this is something that scares you, then I highly recommend assessing how you're managing your clients' expectations to see if you are doing everything that you can to not have this happen. You shouldn't be scared. I know that I have everything I can think of that could ever happen in my contract. I share the good and the bad of this process on my website and in my social media. I don't hide things. I will always tell a client the truth. If they didn't follow the shipping instructions and their flowers look less than ideal when they arrive to me, I'm going to send them a photo and tell them we will try our best, but there is no guarantee that the flowers will dry well, and they should not expect them to look perfect. Do we do everything in our power to dry them so that they do look good and you may not be able to tell that they were just thrown in a box? Absolutely we will, but I'm not going to guarantee anything because I just have no idea what is going to happen with those flowers. If a client brings in an all-white bouquet, I'm going to show her a sample piece of an all-white bouquet that shows various shades of creams and light yellows so that they are aware their flowers will not still be white in the end piece. I'm going to tell them how long each stage of the process is so when they drop off their bouquet in October, they understand that their pieces won't be ready in time for Christmas gifts. Does this keep clients from ever questioning or complaining about something? No. They are human and they will forget what I told them. But I know between my contract, website, social media, and the emails that I send that I have prepared them, and I just have to remind them of that when they say something. Customer service can be hard, but always remember that you can't take anything personally, and that as long as you are doing what you can to prepare your clients and then care for them when things go wrong, that's all you can do. I hope this video was helpful, and if you need any help with how to work with clients and create an experience like this, I've got some resources down in the description for you. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on growing your flower preservation business. And as always, if you ever have any questions about what I discussed today or want to learn something specific, let me know down in the comments and I can create a video for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.